Welcome to the second day of Web3 Creator Summit 2023. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone around the world. For those of you who's joining for us the second day, I'm so excited to see you and meet all of you guys in the comments, Q&A, networking session, and everywhere in the platform. I'm Lavina, co-founder of Wushu, the host of today's conference. Today we have an exciting lineup of speakers, panel discussions, and keynotes. Our industry speakers are from all kinds of backgrounds, from artists, creators to builders. We also have a very exciting giveaway happening. The most engaging attendees will win cash up to $200. You can earn points by asking questions and engaging in polls during a session, network in social lounge with like-minded people, and most importantly, please check out our partner booth area. We have curated some very interesting and promising Web3 companies. Shout out to ATO NFT. We can see your points live throughout the session. The winners will be announced by the end of today. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the speakers and partners who's joining our conference. Without their support, we wouldn't be gathering here today. This conference is brought to you by Wushu and our Web3 Creator newsletter. So please make sure you check it out and subscribe to get on top of all things Web3. Our first session today is keynotes from the renowned Anndy Lian. Anndy Lian is an all-rounded business strategist in Asia, as well as author of the book NFT From Zero to Hero. He has provided advisory across a variety of industries for local, international, public listed companies and governments. He is an early blockchain adopter and experienced serial entrepreneur, book author, investor, board member, and keynote speaker. I'm sure a lot of you guys are here today for Anndy and his insights. So without further ado, let's begin. Thank you,
Hi,
Anndy.
everybody. Hi, thank you for the kind introduction. So my topic today would be kind of straightforward. I look at how the various crypto trends, are coming together, for 2023, end of 2023, and also 2024. Yesterday I've mentioned a few during my panel discussion, including things like the ordinals and how BRC20 is going to be a trend moving forward, but let's see what I have today. All right. I hope everyone can see my screen. A simple PowerPoint just to have a very quick introduction of myself. I'm a book author. I wrote 2 books. Lavina mentioned about NFT From Zero to Hero. That is the latest one. The very first one was actually published in 2019. It's called Blockchain Revolution 2030. Sorry. So that is actually a very trend-setting book. Within the book itself, I have talked about various trends, including NFTs. Back in the good old days when I talk about NFTs, most people would just think that I'm just crazy, man. What are you talking about? Why would a corporation take NFT so seriously? But then fast forward to 5 years later, a lot of these trends were actually happening, and some were even moving a lot faster. So just a quick carry on from there. I'm a licensed fund manager. I give a lot of advice to different government. Right now, I give advice to Mongolia, sharing my insights on how we can, make digital a lot more innovative, a lot more productive, in my role. If you search me hard enough, I'm also you can also find that I'm an advisor to Bybit. I look after partnerships and government relations. So Red Bull is one of my key account, one of our key partnership. So I'm very heavily involved in that. Sorry, I didn't put that on my LinkedIn. I am also a former board member to Hyundai, the car brand, but more towards the blockchain side of things. I also do a lot of things with esports association, and right before this, probably about 2-3 years ago, I'm the only blockchain advisor to Asian Productivity Organization. I hold a PhD in productivity science. I hope to share some of these trends with you and share my crypto journey with you. So I think we are looking at trends. There's always upward trends, downward trends, but right now what we see in the current space, in today's market is that institutions are coming in, and definitely that's one of the key trends that I will share a bit more. And right at the end of the of this presentation. If you need to ask any questions, I will stay behind, and then I would be very happy to take some questions and answer if Lavina allow me to do that. All right, so one thing that I do spot is that the artificial intelligence will continue to disrupt further, and this has to do with how artificial intelligence is more retail level right now, is more consumer level right now. You can see that there are trading AI algorithms right now, where you can predict a lot more accurately. So this trend will continue. As I mentioned, Bybit, we have a trade GPT, for example. So that function itself can help you to talk to the AI, make some accurate assumptions, try to have some prediction for you, all with just simple prompts like asking how would BTC go by the end of today. Then they will give you some statistics, and some of these statistics are really useful because they actually aggregated from a lot of different trading sources, and that kind of trading sources can give you a very good basis on how you should trade, what you can trade, and what kind of trade you are going to do. So artificial intelligence will definitely disrupt our daily lives a lot better, and also our crypto lives a lot better. So the next thing that I want to mention, it would be about CBDC. I think CBDC is the missing link to track, trace, and tax. Most people wouldn't like the last word, about taxing and so forth. But that is actually the last missing link that I see within this whole crypto journey. Why am I saying this is the missing link? It is kind of obvious, from a government perspective. If you want the government to be more assured of what we are trying to do in the crypto space, have a bit more confident that we can do well, they would also want to see how they can sort of, create some kind of a tracking or some kind of regulations around what we are doing right now. So CBDC, fully digitized, and fully trackable, that can actually allow government to keep track of how the money flow are going to be like. Are there any illegal activities? Are there any maybe AML related issues with some of the funds that are being transferred? That kind of assurance might not be the best thing, might be against some of the crypto ethos that we all believe in, but that baby step can actually move our industry a lot faster, because people look at how we do things. As long as we do it in the correct manner, they see that it's in the correct manner. They have more faith in what we are trying to do in the decentralized space. They could then give us more leeway. They could then give a better push. They can then encourage banks to look at Bitcoin in a very different way. So there are a lot of positive news that were out in the market. So CBDC to me is one of the missing link to jar everything up. And with CBDC, we look at this enhancement and so forth, and then you look at how people can control. Then the next thing that will come into different people's mind is how are the rules and regulations going to change. So to me, I think that the trend moving forward is that crypto travel rule will be enhanced. That is very aligned with the previous point that I have brought out about CBDC. I think the travel rule will be enhanced. Personally, I have given advice and also contributed to papers on how the travel rule should be like, moving forward. So right now you can see that some of our accounts, you got to send to different address. You got to identify who that wallet address is, what are the funds for. These are all very similar to the traditional banking system. And this thing is not a stranger to people who are in the finance world. So the travel rule will be enhanced. More decoration on funds will be imposed onto each transfer. The identity behind some of these transfer or some of these wallet will also be um, scrutinized a lot more than what we see right now. Because to be very honest, whatever that we are trying to do from a crypto level, if it's decentralized, everything is on chain, everything is fairly transparent, right? If you're going to send it to a friend, you got to tag your friend got to know this whole process. It is fairly transparent. And as long as the centralized exchanges are doing their part to do the KYC portion, then that whole that whole travel rule would be tightened by a lot more. So I see that this is a really big trend. I do see this trend happening a lot in Asia right now, and please do not be surprised to see that such implementations are going to kick in forcefully. Again, these are all very linked points. Decentralized and peer-to-peer network will be more monitored. I have mentioned about this in one of my conference. I can't remember where, but I mentioned that governments, right now, some of them, they have trial projects and pilot trials to look at how they can track all those different wallets. They may not have a name behind each and every wallet, but they are trying their best to do some tagging. They're trying their best to look at how individual wallet behave. So this thing is already happening. Again, I think these are not public information, but I didn't mention which country is doing that trial. But trust me, these are things that are already happening, and these are things that are being enforced by the regulators. With that, of course, you can also see another trend where crypto native are very concerned about privacy and security. How they want to sort of fight back in terms of how this whole network monitoring is going to be liked. So that is also another business opportunity and another business trend. But just to be very mindful, a lot of these decentralized peer-to-peer wallets are slowly being indexed and slowly being tagged with greater plans ahead. Decentralized governance, from a more technology standpoint and from a more structural standpoint, these are increasingly popular. If you look at it from another angle, maybe from a term that is more friendly, like DAOs, I have seen the DAOs working really effectively, in some of the workers' union, and some of these protester groups and so forth. DAO works really perfectly for that kind of purpose. And of course we will see more of such governance mentality shifting into a more crypto native company, where the decision making process will change. It's no longer being held by one single entity or one single person. It is more or less distributed and decentralized. And to be very honest, some of this mindset or some of this methodology is already being adopted in some of the smaller crypto companies, because they believe that by doing that, there will be a lot more to gain in the future, and they believe that decentralization is the way to go. Layer 2, so Bitcoin, Ethereum, they will continue to grow. BRC20, for example, will continue to grow. ZK will continue to grow. This is a very straightforward trend that we can all see right now. ZK is working really hard. there's a lot of talks, there's a lot of applications behind the whole ZK community. And of course, if you look at the BRC as well, there are also a lot other things that are built on BRC20, not only on NFTs. I saw OKX, talk about a BRC20S kind of added staking ability to the protocol. I think these are some of the things that we should all take note of. These are all the things that we should try to understand. But nevertheless, of course, I think ZK is growing a lot faster than BRC20. I hope both can do well in the coming quarter. So I see the other trend will be Metaverse will continue to grow, with new economy, and it will be self-sustaining. I think right now, or maybe right before this, there's a lot of play to earn kind of this tokenomics model. Moving forward, I think play and earn would be something different. You can play and you can also earn, and that can actually help to flourish a lot more traffic, a lot more utility within the metaverse itself, and creating this as a second life or maybe a second home for a lot of people. So I hope to see a more sustaining ecosystem, behind the whole metaverse story. So there will be a next level NFT. NFT sales have not picked up, as you can see. If you look at the different charts from Forecast to Crypto Slam to even Footprint Analytics, you could have seen the trend that the sales volume has not picked up. For a long while, it has been down. But to be very honest, the adoption has increased thanks to the bigger brands. For example, Starbucks, Red Bull, Gucci, all of these bigger brands are pushing NFTs to the next level. And I participated in another Twitter Spaces, I think last week. That is with Moment3 and Alibaba, AliExpress, part of the Alibaba group, are also doing NFTs, are pushing very hard, and trying to drive their NFT agenda. I think with all these big brands, big e-commerce company coming into the space, that is really going to kick us a lot harder, trying to make all the crypto native work a lot harder. And to be honest, all these big brands coming in will not bring us big sales volume, because all these big brands are using the NFT technology as a way to create stickiness, as a way to interact with their audiences. They are not selling the NFTs mostly. If they were to sell it, it will be in a very small amount, but look at it in a brighter manner. The big brands help NFT buzzword grow a lot bigger and a lot stronger. You can see that in the last 2 quarters. I do see that there will be more dApps. Larger corporations are seeking to capitalize on the crypto trend. So you will see more dApp, DApps, building and keep building. I've seen larger corporations now, who are not very much into crypto, but they see the blockchain technology behind it as something very, very valuable. So they will continue to capitalize on the crypto trend. Well, I talk about Web4 quite a fair bit, because I see that Web3 is not very decentralized. I see that Web4 could be something that will, or maybe a more decentralized web will be something popular and would be a trend in the next few years. Because sooner or later, people in the Web3 space will understand that right now what you see in the Web3 space, many of them are actually owned by VC, controlled by capitalists, and I really hope to see a bit more decentralized in the years moving forward. So that's a vision, that's a concept. But of course, some of our friends, like Justin Sun, this Twitter founder Jack. They talk about Web 5, and some of them even talk about Web 6. So I think Web 4 is something reasonable. Please Google my name and you can find some articles on that. I think crypto will go to the next level. I think back in 2018-19, there were a lot of talks on security tokens. Back then, I think things are not in the right time and also not in the right framework. With the current regulations, I do see that security tokens would be a lot more favorable compared to what you see a couple of years ago. So please take note of STOs. You could sell some good STOs and bring some good traditional business into the crypto space. Commodity trading will be another thing that we see. Trade with the most popular commodity market with crypto, from oil to gold, and the choice is really yours. I had the chance to speak to the regulators from Kazakhstan. They are very positive. They are also talking to various exchanges on how they can expand their footprint on commodity trading with cryptocurrency. So please, this will be a big trend moving forward. And like I've mentioned, since we are more ready this year, this will be something to catch in 2024. Regulatory clarity. I think that the growth of this whole industry really depend on regulations. We are a small group. As long as we can get the buy-in from the regulator, and as long as we can look at some of these trends that I've mentioned, from CBDC to travel rule, as long as we work within the framework, I think regulators will be happy to see how they can facilitate. As you can see from today's news, friends from Hong Kong, they are all accepting cryptocurrency. They are opening up. Big banks are encouraged to facilitate crypto right now in Hong Kong. So this is a very big plus. Why they are able to do that is not because they are far-sighted. It's because the regulators are supporting them. So that is a big difference for them. So clarity for regulations are very, very key. Okay, so 10% in crypto. This thing is something that I've talked about in Dubai. Some of you who have seen me in Dubai and met me with some of my other banking friends. There's a lot of banks client, big family offices, international bank, famous private banks. They are all looking at helping to facilitate crypto, trying to facilitate their clients with crypto. And I think that 10% rule of their total portfolio would be something interesting to see. And that kind of trend, that is not a number set by me, but I got to speak to different stakeholders. They always use the 10% rule for crypto. And I think this would be a good trend moving forward. You will see more banks, more family office getting into the crypto space. And then DeFi, for example, is also something that the banks are looking at. You'll be surprised that DeFi can be widely adopted, by some of the mainstream financial companies in 2024, through some form of micro lending, P2P lending. There's a lot of things that can be done. Then there's a lot of ways to keep their customer happy. So 10%. So my closing few words before I take on some questions is that we are really still early. We are not here to say that crypto is going to end tomorrow. I can tell you that we are still early. We are still very early. We are early adopters for cryptocurrency. We are still the pioneer. So please work hard towards that vision. Crypto is here to stay, definitely. This is one of my tagline, one of the main tagline that I have in my new book, NFT From Zero to Hero. Your new digital asset is in the digital world. This is something that is really, really dear, and I really believe in this whole concept, because right now what you see, whatever you can see right now, be it your watches or be it your home, be it your mobile phone, all of these things can be NFTs. All of these things can be used to connect yourself in your current world with a metaverse, with your current world to a digital world. So I still think that the new assets are all going to be in the digital space. With that, this is my contacts. Always happy to see what I can facilitate. Very happy to have the chance to give a quick keynote speech to all of you. If I have time, I will definitely take some questions. Thank you so much. So think I have a little bit of time, I hope. Okay.
Hi, Andy. Yes, you have a bit of time left, and I think we
Hi,
have some
James.
questions in the Q&A.
Sure. I
So,
can just read through, or do you
yeah,
want to see which is good? I am not sure how to
it's
get it.
okay. You go ahead and read them. I think there's only just a few, so I'll let you
Sure,
handle it.
no problem. Okay, Maka, are there any potential challenges or risks that the crypto industry might face in 2024, such as cybersecurity threats or market being volatile? I think crypto will always be very volatile. Right now, what you can see, in the current small pump, um, I think these are just temporary. There's a lot of different level of resistance, to meet in order for all of us to recognize this as a bull run. So the market being volatile is always going to be there, and this will always be there for cryptocurrency. Until it reaches a maturity stage. So for 2024, I think the kind of challenges and risks that we do see would also be a double-edged sword. I think that the travel rule would be a big challenge for many of us, including banks, including regulators, including the normal users, because they will not be able to transfer their crypto freely and converting them into cryptocurrency that easily. So I think that could be one of the biggest challenge that you see in 2024. So I hope that answered part of the question. Um, Husani mentioned, are the expectation of increased adoption of cryptocurrency among mainstream businesses and institutions in 2024 realistic or overly optimistic? I think this is a really good question. I've spoken to leading companies, listed ones, and also spoken to SMEs, for example. Honestly, I think both of them are very bullish on the blockchain technology. They are very, very bullish on the technology itself. Listed companies, they are not so receptive in terms of adopting cryptocurrency right now, because some of them are based in jurisdiction that are not so friendly. But the smaller SMEs, but some of them are not that small. They could be maybe a $50 million worth to $100 million worth. That kind of SMEs, they are willing to take the change. They are willing to walk the innovation path. So in 2024, I would think that there will be more SMEs, especially the bigger ones, getting themselves really deep into the cryptocurrency scene. So that's a big plus based on what I see. Chris Bruce, why are people still focusing on images for NFT versus prime use case like the Ticketmaster? Okay, that's a really good question, Chris. I'm not sure how to flash these on the screen, but I think tickets wise, I think there are already people looking at using NFTs as a ticketing source. I invested in one of them. I'm not going to say their name. I know that F1, together with Polygon, they are also doing very similar utility for the tickets. But you got to be very mindful, because right now the market is all about speculation, about markets, about pumps, about price, and so forth. So the reason why all these use cases are not being publicized too much is because there's no hype around it. These are things that are naturally implemented on the blockchain, naturally fitted into the NFT narrative. So nobody's going to talk about it. Like right now, who is going to talk about what browser you're using, or whatever it is that we are trying to talk about right now. So I think it's a sign of being mature, and also honestly, people are not really focusing on PFPs anymore. That trend has dropped a lot, since the last 2 years, since 2 years ago. Can you talk about the downsides of CBDC? I think being very, very, very realistic, I think downsides from CBDC, there are tons of them, but maybe I'll just let you know one that it felt very dear in my heart, and I was actually consulting with another government. I flagged that out to them. So maybe food for thought is, if the government itself is a very capable government, they are non-corruptive, they are capable, they know what they do, they know what they want for their people. When they create CBDC, then CBDC will be in a very good hands. Everything can be controlled. You can understand where the money are flowing. And if you have a good economist, you have a good team backing you up, you can really balance things very well, economically. But if you are a bad government, bad regulator, tons of corruption, you can actually easily create new money whenever you want. So that is actually one of the downside that most people did not look at. So I think I've answered most of the questions. The rest are not exactly loading, but it is cool. Back to you, James. Sorry, did I kill James at the
Yeah.
wrong time?
No, perfect. Sorry, it just takes a while to get me on the
Yes.
screen. Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much, Andy, for your keynote on crypto
Thank you.
trends. That was super interesting. Really like a valuable information from someone who is so deep in the space. So we encourage everyone to connect with Andy on LinkedIn. I'll just show that pop up again so you guys can do it, or you can visit his website, and please definitely buy his book, NFT From Zero to Hero. I'm sure it's a fantastic read. Great. So we'll be starting our next panel discussion at 11:45, everyone. So we'll be discussing how we can strike a balance between art and technology. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for joining in this keynote. Bye.
Bye, everyone.